Howdy doodle, everybody.
Nobody's there yet.
I know there's nobody there yet. But I thought
We
it
have to
would
give
be
it a little bit of
different
time.
from me going, hello.
There we go, our video's just appeared.
Hi, video's just appeared.
So we'll wait for everybody to catch up
mine.
and tune in. God, we're quite well lit tonight.
Yeah, perhaps a bit
On
too
there.
much. Turn that off. That's way bright. It's
See if
better. I
that
like
makes any
sitting in the
difference.
dark. It's better. I'm like a vampire. I, as usual, am struggling with the technicalities. Where is it? Why can I never find it?
Well, it just appeared on mine at the top of the home screen.
Talk amongst yourself for a minute. Talk amongst yourself.
Just waiting. We're still waiting for people to tune in anyway. It's all good. We've got a bit of time waiting for you to sort out your...
Don't bother me. It's just a video.
Scroll to the top of that page.
It's not there.
That's the page it should be on.
Oh no. It's not fun if I don't have technicalities. Hi Leah. Hi Adele. Hi Carol.
Yay, people are tuning in.
I found it.
Yay.
Found it. Okay.
Sorry,
Technicalities over.
if you just tuned in, Penny was trying to get her laptop under control just in case she misses a comment.
Well, one of us has to be the grown-up, and as I'm blind and I can't wear my glasses because it will just reflect everything back, and that's all you'll see.
Fair enough.
I have to put an effort in. Doesn't happen often. Might not happen again. Hi Anna.
Excellent evening, guys. Another
Anna-
Sunday.
Anna's written hello because that's usually what I say. But I'm trying really hard to behave. So lovely people.
Yeah, what a week. Interesting week. Well, it has been for us. Apologies if I look a bit dishevelled, but I feel terrible today.
I know you've been very
Yeah,
poorly.
I've got sinusitis, headache.
People
and it
don't
just-
care. They
yeah,
just
no.
want you to entertain. Put your professional
If you're here
face
for the
on.
first time, let's do our introductions. If you're here for the first time, my name's Alistair, and I'm a mediumistic life coach. And this is my gorgeous goddess, Penny, who is...
Old. I've had a birthday. I'm quite old. I'm an empath and other things as well, but as I get nagged at every week for doing a CV, I'm not going to. So please refer to the webpage to see what skills and experience I have.
Oh, you've got to let this go.
I don't want to. So, what we've been doing
I want to talk about
is
ghosts.
we've been doing up until now standard discovery circle things, talking about different aspects of the paranormal and the, I was going to say abnormal, that's not right,
That'd be me.
and the undefinable. And we decided that there are quite a lot of people that have spiritual experiences around ghosts and spooks and spirits and things. And we decided we were going to spend a few weeks covering that. So we started that last week.
A lot of what people ask me is, well, how do you know?
How do you know what?
How do you know when it's a ghost or if it's just something that's inanimately moved or something's happened? You've heard a random noise.
Okay. One is common sense.
That clearly... Why did you overemphasise that at me?
We don't do technical, so we don't use specific technical equipment for analysis of what a sound is and those kind of things. We have worked with lovely people who do, and that's great. But being an empath, I tend to work with clairsentience, clairaudience, clairvoyance more than anything else, and I use my dowsing rods as well for clarification when a message doesn't come through very clearly. But a large dose of common sense. I'm not a blind believer. If I hear a sound and I know that that is because I've propped something up and it's fell over because I've put it at a funny angle, I'm not going to go, oh my lord, that's a spirit. Common sense would tell me it's fallen over because I put it at a funny angle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But what would you guys like to know? What is it about ghosts or spirits or energy, residual energy in a property or an object that you'd like to know more about?
We've got a little list of things that we can talk about. If you're not comfortable writing in the comments, and some people aren't, we have now got a messenger button on Facebook, so you can send us a message through straight away. Don't do it telepathically, I might not get it.
You can then send it privately, and we can...
And if you don't want us to say who you are, but you're happy to talk about the experience, or us to talk about the experience, then absolutely, we can do that. Or you can send us an email. It needs to be comfortable for you. So, hi Marianne. So, ghosts and ghoulies and strange encounters.
The first thing I always think of when somebody says ghosts is either Ghostbusters or films like spooky films like The Conjuring and things like that, where it's over dramatic and there's so much stuff happening. That's what I always think people that's your first go-to thought, because that's what we see all the time in films, and it's exciting and it's exaggerated.
Yes, and in true experiences, there are many occasions where absolutely nothing happens and nobody comes through and there's no activity at all. And anybody who's worth their salt and honest will say there is nothing coming through and not fake it. The problem with TV and movies is that people are tuning in for a reason. They want to see something happen, so some disreputable teams will manufacture something unnecessarily just to keep viewing figures up. For example, when we did the world's largest live stream seance, the room that we were in was not at that time a very active room at all. But being a seance, it's not like we could turn the lights off, sit in the dark and hold hands, which we couldn't do anyway because of the regulations for COVID. We weren't allowed to touch and we weren't allowed to move around the building, and luckily a few things came through, and the UK Haunted guys had all their technical equipment, so that picked stuff up as well. But potentially that would have been an hour and a half of all of us sitting in the dark with nothing happening except us lovely people calling out.
Well, that's kind of why I mentioned it, because we watched the Ghost Box team, didn't we? UK Haunted.
Yeah.
We watched them do their live from a location, and from what we could see at first guess, I'm not sure they caught anything. But I've not heard anything if they've reviewed stuff or...
I imagine once they've done their reviews of their recordings that they did, that they'll have some EVPs, and that there'll be something there. But in the main, I think that it wasn't as lively as it possibly could have been. Not that they did anything wrong. It's just sometimes places are like that. Sometimes places are just a bit quiet, and usually when you really want them to do something, for example when you're doing a live, in their case, that's when the spirits go, we're going to say nothing. We're not going to appear, we're not going to move anything, we're not going to touch anybody.
But how is
it? Doesn't mean it doesn't happen, it just means it didn't happen at that time. And again, once they've reviewed their footage back and played back the recordings that they did, they may well have really excellent things that happened.
I think they'll have caught something.
I think they probably have caught something. It's just when you're trying to cram something into a short space of time live, doesn't always work that way. And in films it does, because that's what you want to watch. You want to see all those things happen. And films like anything to do with a spirit board or a Ouija board, wow, all the things that go on in the movies, that's amazing, because I can tell you I've got lots of experience with spirit boards and I've never seen one behave the way they do in the films, ever.
Yeah, but let's say we did a film that was a true representation of when we know we've had a visit from, or when I know I've had a visit from an ancestor.
Yeah.
That little moment, which I'm sure you guys have had as well, where just a white feather appears that can't have really have fallen from anywhere. We all have it, but that's not really what you'd class as a ghost experience.
It's
but in
a paranormal
reality,
experience.
It kind of is. It's a visit. Or at least that's how I interpret it.
It's a...
But you can't really make an exciting movie out of that. Oh, we found another white feather.
Oh, we found a feather.
You know?
And we've been visited by an angel.
So yeah, so that doesn't make for good viewing content.
No.
So,
No. And that's why real life ghost hunting doesn't always translate very well in a live format. When you see, and there are loads of brilliant shows out there, things like Ghost Adventures, they've had weeks to record somewhere. And even if it's not weeks, they've had days, and then they condense it all down and say, look how much happened. I'm not in any way disputing that things happened that were unexplained and out of the ordinary. Not in the slightest. I think things definitely did happen. I just don't think it happened in an hour and a half.
no.
I think it happened over a very long space of time, and then it's condensed because nobody wants to watch an hour and a half of nothing. Although saying that, all you lovely people are watching us for an hour, and we're not doing very much.
Not at the minute. We can't really. Well, we can kind of go out now. I think under.
We can, but we're
restrictions.
still quite nervous about that.
Yeah, well, I've seen the evidence of when people have been out.
And
Dirty humans have been out on the park and just left all their litter.
let that go.
It's
Someone's
like a
been
pack of seagulls.
It is true. Although seagulls would have ate everything. So, yeah, tell us about your experiences. Hi, Rose.
Hi, Marion. I just see Marion's.
We did have a couple of lovely connections last week that were unexpected. We don't intend to do any readings.
Yeah. Okay.
We do. We can't help it. If something comes through and we need to tell you.
Is that the
then-
royal we?
Yeah. But our intention is to talk about experiences people that have had. So I've had lots and lots of experiences. I've been very fortunate. Some that I've wanted and some that have been very unexpected. A couple that have freaked me out. And people ask, do you get scared? Why do you get scared if you talk to the spirit? Because I'm a human. And it's human reaction. And we're all built with a startle response. And it's just normal to have moments of being surprised by something. Or if you feel particularly uncomfortable and it doesn't feel like good energy, then...
I'll step in.
Oh, in a minute.
I don't mean in the conversation.
Oh, you confused me.
I meant if you were dealing with the negative energy. So I like that.
Yeah, no, it can be. It can be really surprising. But we've had a lovely comment. What have we had? Okay. If you put something in the comments, I'm going to assume you're happy for me to share who you are, because everybody can read the comments anyway. So, lovely Rose. Rose had an experience.
All I seen there was the
Old
word
lady
crapped.
at the end of your bed. Your computer just had a moment.
Yeah.
Old lady
Or
at
we've
the end
got
of your bed.
some sort of weird haunty thing going on in our laptop.
Yeah, that was a bit weird what just happened there. It glitched like in a horror movie where the screen jolted.
Yeah.
That was weird. Okay, so, yeah, lots of people have the experience of an old lady or an old man at the bottom of their bed.
That was my first ever experience as a child.
Yeah.
It's my granddad, admittedly, so I wasn't exactly scared. I was startled. I think I've told this story. I don't want to be over the same stuff. We need to write notes so we can go, that story is in episode...
Everybody says is valid, because I will repeat myself a lot and tell you the same things over and over again. And unless you put in the comments, shut up, I'm going to keep doing it. So, yeah, old people at the bottom of your bed, an old person.
Ancestors is a good sign. If ancestors come back, I strongly believe in ancestors keep an eye on us. Watch. And when I'm gone, I'll keep an eye on my kids.
We are by no means experts.
An ex being something that was, and a spurt being a drip under pressure.
Oh, my Lord.
Dad joke.
Was a dad joke. So...
Yeah, it was 17 in your first home. It is a startling thing. The way I explained it, I can't remember what week this was, is I imagine it as I'm sat in a room in the dark with a bucket on my head and I can't really hear anything. I know something's there, but I can't hear anything. And then when they get close enough that I get startled because they're close enough to hear them. So it's that not hearing somebody's approach. So the same as if I walk in the kitchen and make Penny jump, I didn't do it intentionally. It's just my presence she wasn't aware straight away, and that's kind of how I think spirits work as well. They get sometimes just make you jump. Yeah. But then I get a buzz out of it.
Yeah. What, out of the adrenaline rush?
The adrenaline, but also the energy that flows with it when there's that connection there.
But that's verbal. If it's you open your eyes and you see somebody at the end of the bed.
I've only had that happened a few times. Proper.
I can't say it's something that ever really...
Got worse as I got older. I think I got more cynical as I got older.
Not that I can think of. It'd be interesting to know if you recognised the lady or if it was linked to somebody within the house and they might have just been surprised who this young girl was that was in their house and just come to have a nose. Because as we get older, we get properly nosy. We do.
Really older. Yeah, there's a couple of both seeing a similar sort of lady. You've got to remember what your... We're going into this a little bit more, people think I'm mental. But imagine what your ancestors would have been wearing. What is normal to them
if it's night time, a Winceyette nightie from here to the floor.
That's...
Big white Winceyette nightie. Absolutely, and I still wear that now.
Sexy ghosts.
Calm down. Yeah, and it does happen a lot. And I'm sure that there are professionals out there and cynics out there who will say that it's something to do with the brain. And it's interesting that we tend to see old men or old ladies at the end of our bed and not, or in the corner of the room, and not younger people. For me, there's not been an age on who I've seen, if I've seen somebody. I couldn't specifically say that it was an older person, but it is a phenomena that happens to a lot of people, and it is terrifying at the time it happens. Cause
it can be.
If you live on your own, particularly if you're young and it's your first house and it's difficult to sleep at the best of times, and then you open your eyes and you can see somebody sitting there. So the cynics would, I imagine, say that it's something to do with anxiety. It's something that your brain has projected. It's a hallucination linked to your anxiety. That doesn't mean that it didn't happen. Victorian nightie. Absolutely. Do you know what, though? Winceyette. Here to the floor. I'm all for that.
You got to deal with them. You're like...
No, that's a type of fabric.
Oh, I thought you were after some sort of influencer deal from some company that makes Winceyettes, maybe.
Nobody makes those kind of nighties anymore. I've looked.
Maybe we could bring them back. But the Wiccan Warrior Well, no, I can't even say
You can't even say it.
Too much coffee
the
for a
Wiccan
sentence
Warrior
like
Winceyette range.
Yeah, no, I failed on that one.
Yeah, don't do that. Okay, looked like she was floating. Again, that's not to say it didn't happen, because it might absolutely have floated.
I love that equation when it's floating, because the floor where it is now isn't necessarily where the floor was where they were with them, because of layer changes and movements and things. So sometimes when you don't see their feet, it's literally they're walking on their floor, not yours, or above where your floor is. You know what I mean?
Nobody knows what you mean.
But no, we don't need to be cynics on this page.
No, I'm just pointing out there that
I'll happily sit
we're
and
not
talk to
blind believers.
No, I'm not.
There is a level of logic that, yes, our brain will try to... will do weird things when we're not ourselves, when we're anxious or afraid or...
But I think it comes with a confidence to spot it as a sign earlier.
And there's an interesting thing there, because I noticed, Anna, that you've said that in your case, I've lost it now, that you was quite young, you were really young, and Rose, you were saying you were 17. There is some question around particularly girls, pre-teen,
it was real.
and hormones and things, but that doesn't mean that it's about it didn't happen and it's just your hormones playing games with your brain. It can be about maybe when that happens, when you're going through puberty, that you become more sensitive, more open, more aware to things happening.
Is this where it fits into like maiden, mother, crone? Is that?
No.
That's not part of that?
No.
Oh, right, okay. I thought that was part of the progression.
What, coming to visit you?
No, I thought that was something to do with the cycle of the female, was that maiden, mother, crone?
No.
Or have I got that completely wrong?
No, you're right.
You just left me hanging there like a muppet on a rope.
No, you are. You're right. It's not linked to puberty and experiences, though.
Oh,
that's just the
fair enough.
cycle.
Oh, fair enough, okay.
I've jumped into crone.
Sorry, if you're joining us for the first time, my brain jumps off in tangents.
It's quite hard to manage.
That's not, you ignore most of it.
I should really try. And you've had other experiences, Rose. Again,
Probably
if you're
sensitive.
open and you're sensitive, and you if it's not something that happens every day, you kind of forget about it until it happens again. And then you go, oh, hang on a minute. I've felt like this before. Something similar has happened like this before. And then you forget again because you get caught up in your life.
It's like your spidey senses tingle.
Yeah.
I get it all the time. You ask my kids or my family or my friends, they'll randomly get a text message off me that just says, hi, how you doing? And it's because I've had some sort of thought that's made me think, I need to speak to that person, or I need to contact that person for something or about something. So,
Yeah.
but we all get that. It's all right. It's intuition.
Yeah.
But psychologists like to break things down into, oh, well, it could be this. It's because you're thinking that. So yeah, there could well be a psychological reason for it.
I don't think it's a bad thing to break it down, to question the experience, to see if it is genuine. I don't have an issue with that at all. I think you should do that.
Sometimes I over-question though. I get lost in the
But
question rather than looking at the result.
if you
and focusing.
question and question and question, and you still don't have the answer to what it is, then you've got your evidence.
Yeah, you're left with what was the answer at the beginning. Oh, yeah, okay.
Oh, maybe. I mean, I've had some properly weird experiences. One was at the house I lived at before this one. I'd fell asleep on the sofa watching TV, as you do, and was woken
Gin in
up.
one hand, fag in the other.
Probably did have a fag in my hand, to be honest with you then, in them days. And I fell asleep on the sofa, and I was woken up by a voice. And this has happened a few times, and it happened within the last month too. If you remember I said. But this particular time, it was about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I heard a voice and kind of just lay there for a minute thinking, I'm sure I heard something, but I'm not sure. And then this is the freaky bit. If you can imagine when you talk, you can feel your breath. If you talk to your hand now, just like a weirdo, just ask a question, you can feel the breath.
It smells like coffee.
Glad that's all it smells of. I was lying on the sofa and I felt a breath next to my ear say, follow me. So I sat bolt upright. It wasn't what was said. It was the fact that I felt the sensation of the breath. So that for me added weight to, yes, it was a voice. But it was intriguing that I'd felt that sensation. I thought, whoa, that's a little bit odd. And I kind of jumped up because it was 3 o'clock in the morning and I was half asleep. Although I wasn't. I was wide awake then. And I could hear it. So I followed the voice to the house that we had a cellar. So I followed the voice to the cellar door and then thought, well, that's a bit weird. Because we used the cellar daily. So at the time I went and woke up my partner and said, you need to come downstairs and tell me what you hear. Which was my way of testing whether it was true. And he came downstairs and he went, what the hell was that? And I said, oh, tell me what you heard. And he said, follow me. And I said, okay, so let's follow the voice then. You tell me where we're going. And he did the same thing and went to the cellar door. At this point, it's about 3:30 in the morning. And we got to the cellar door and he said, I think we need to go in the cellar. And I said, I don't think we do. It's 3:30 in the morning. I'm quite tired. The kids will be up in a couple of hours. Let's not do that. But thanks, because you've just proved to me that what I'd heard was genuine. And went to bed and went straight to sleep.
I was just reading Marion's comment.
Okay. So anyway, that's one of my weird little stories about testing and questioning. And that was it. So.
Yeah, no, Marion's she's put a comment in there which you guys can read. But when she went to, after somebody had died, she went to the kennels to sort of feed the dogs, but didn't know the dogs. So as she walks in the door, something was telling her what the dogs' names were.
Wow.
So she could sort of help sort the dogs out. I'm all for stuff like that. That's definite. I don't know. People could dispute it. I don't know, but I wouldn't at all.
No, that's quite clever. That I like that. It's quite an interesting little experience.
It reminded me of an experience. Not long after I'd seen my granddad at the base of my bed, probably 5, 6 months. I'm saying not long after, but you know how memories jump. I was tasked with the job of papering the bathroom. So, which I didn't really want to do, but I was measuring anyway. And at the time I was using one of them fold up, it was like a 4-fold ruler. That was my granddad's, I found out. And as I measured round where the U-bend is for the loo, and got back to the table, I heard a voice say, you need to add 1 inch and a bit to that. And I just kind of paused and went, okay, and just went with it. And then when I put it on there, I'd obviously mismeasured it. And that inch, it was 1.25 inches, was exactly what it was to go around it. So he was watching me bloody wallpapering.
Badly.
But yeah, so that was quite good. I was sort of, excellent, thanks for that. But at the time, again, because of the kind of person I am, I just blurted it out to my mum and my grandma as they come wandering past.
So that's the same thing as Marion experienced then, because if you had lots of help running the kennels, there was definitely somebody helping you, and you were having help.
Yeah.
So
I say, as I've got older, I think I've got more cynical. I don't get it as much now.
You've got to think though.
Or my granddad just thinks I've got my shit together or something. Maybe, I don't know.
Here's hoping.
I don't know.
Doesn't do wallpaper in here.
But I like those moments, whether it's a voice or a feeling or something in your gut that gives you that intuition. Those are skills that we're starting to really forget.
It's because we get distracted.
We're becoming reliant on stuff to do stuff.
Everything's internet based. Everything's, all our lives are in our phones now. We stopped talking to each other and looking at the world around us and started looking at our phones for everything.
We did. Right, what was one of the other topics? Or have we got anybody else said anything?
No, I'm just looking.
But I love that story, man. That's awesome. I love
That is an
stuff
awesome
like that.
story. It is. And we all have. We've all had these experiences. And yeah, Rose, you said that you over question as well. We all do.
Oh, I'm king of questions.
Because things that we don't know about, things that we don't understand, or things that frighten or confuse us, we want to justify.
Maybe
We
I'll tell
want
you
to
one day
prove.
about asking too many questions to...
What, just day to day?
No, while at Baptist church. What happened during that?
It's lots of fun when we have religious callers knock the door. But they don't anymore.
I'm not disrespectful at all.
You're not at all. I think you frighten them off asking questions.
Marion, yes, it was definitely happening. The husband couldn't understand how I knew all that. It is. And it's good that you were there to tune in to it.
And clearly it was really useful for you as well. And it helped you. And sometimes when people talk about experiences like that, or they see things like that in films and on TV, it's a fear. It's always linked to something awful is going to happen, something terrible. And well, no, hang on a minute. You've got stories there. You've got stories where you've been helped and guided, and there is nothing scary or evil or
No, my
malevolent
granddad's,
to be frightened of.
my granddad's trick was just to sort of pop in. And it was always at a turning, because when I was a kid, I left home quite quickly. I wanted out. I was flipping wallpaper at 15. Who wants to live in that? So I left and went, and then various things changed. So I moved back, and I was back and forth. And he would generally appear when I was at a point of trying to make decisions, if I just deciding which path I wanted to go on at that time. So that, yeah, it was most of the times when I was questioning myself.
Rose, you're saying about you need to switch off electricity. I kind of understand what you're saying. We do, actually. We do need to go back to... I'm all for candlelight and getting rid of all of this internet-y stuff.
Candlelight, dinner for two. Is that what you meant?
No.
Oh.
You whine
You meant
enough.
candles, a star, a goat. That's what you meant, weren't it?
No.
Oh. Both ends of the spectrum then.
But actually, electricity is a really good conductor. It's something that spirits who have more difficulty communicating because they're not strong enough can latch onto and use. So we all everything contains energy, including us. It's just different forms of energy, and some spirits can absolutely use electricity as a conductor so that they can communicate. Not all of them, just some.
My opinion might differ.
We do disagree over that.
I don't really... There's a number of aspects with... Science is what's given us electromagnetic static. They've put the label on it as that. We're now conducting it... People are conducting experiments with electromagnetic static and electro fields and things like that for the spirit world. We have absolutely no evidence that there is anything electrostatic to do with that energy. Universal energy, we haven't yet. Well, we have to a certain degree with Reiki teachers and masters. We have made that they've registered frequency differences.
Yes.
But we have no evidence at all that says anything about ghosts or psychometric energy being stored as a form of electricity.
Not
or
being stored, being
static.
used as a conductor of communication. And I've had experience of that happening. So I'm not going to agree with you.
No, I don't believe
I
that
will respectfully...
spiritual energy is the same and
not.
able to use electrical energy. I don't know if it would work for or against at this point.
It's okay.
But I've never been on a ghost hunt with any tech.
I have.
Me and my mates used to just walk around abandoned places and effectively kind of just tell each other stories about what we felt with the rooms and what we thought had gone on.
Yeah.
Some would be imagination, and some was genuinely what I could feel. My favourite was the house on the crossroads with the death. Oh man, that was a family that died. But the house still felt really loving. It was derelict, and it was in a spot-on location. I tried to find it on Google Maps,
I was
but
going
it's
to
in
say, do we
Scotland.
know where this is? Because
Yes,
it
no, it's
sounds like
gone.
our next holiday.
It was on a T junction between Keith and Huntley, I think.
Details?
Yeah, sorry, details. And we were there, and I was kind of wandering around it, and it felt like such a lush sort of family home. There was nothing that felt negative until I went up the stairs. I only got as far as the kind of the top landing, and then the energy changed.
Yeah.
And it was just coughing and spluttering and just people dying. And then go downstairs again. Lovely. It was a really odd divide.
Okay, if we go for a holiday, we'll stay downstairs. Anyway, hi Danny. Marion said, did your granddad help
I
you
agree with you
decide?
both. There's loads of stuff we don't agree on.
Loads of stuff. It's no biggie. That's the point of questioning and testing, and some things work for some people and some things don't. And that's okay too. I've just realised I look like Mrs. Pepperpot, but you've got to be of a certain age to know who that lady is.
Marion's put a question. Did your granddad help when you decide your path to take? Not necessarily, but it was more a case of, and it kind of is the same way as I parent. Yes, we can keep telling our kids, don't do that because, don't do that because, don't do that because. It's more a case of, well, if you do that, you need to tell me because this will happen. Do you know what I mean? It's
You learn through your
yeah,
mistakes.
they've got to learn from their own experiences. So my granddad always made me feel like whatever decision I was making was the right one at the time. And whether it changed a week, a day, a month down the line, then you'd remake the decision again, and then it changes again. Because there was so much stuff going on, so many decisions to be made, it was kind of, yeah, there was no, sometimes you just have to boomerang and bounce around a bit until you figure out what's going on.
And if like you're somebody that questions everything anyway, and want to find your own path, you're not necessarily gonna. If he gave you specific advice, you're not gonna follow it because you're obstinate.
Well, that's what we don't. That's what I mean by that is it's not necessarily a parent. It's not about that to either start or stop a child's experiences in what they want to do. It's about supporting them in what they want to do. And if you have to pick them up and dust their knee off because they fell off their bike, because you know my logic. It's kind
I do.
It's that sort of. Somebody saying the word. I love the way we disagree, but no argument. It's because it's mutually respectful. It's not.
How we live our lives.
God, that's yeah.
And what happens is if we don't agree on something, we just kind of whoever is talking just talks to themselves, and the other one just stops listening. Their brain goes on holiday for a bit.
Or the other person will go, no, 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 no. And then that's
Who would do that?
This is obviously just got childish now. But
No,
yeah,
no,
so
no.
my granddad just was there to offer support, not necessarily as a guidance. And that's, I touched on that last week or whatever. When we talk to our ancestors, or if we think we've got a connection with the spirit, is to ask meaningful questions. So the questions at the time, when I asked them, I remember saying it out loud and going, okay, what do I do? And you get no response to that. That's it's such a short question which requires such a long answer.
Yeah.
The more poignant question is, with the decision that I make, have you got my back? Yes. Done. Right then. I know I can make whatever decision it is confidently. You've got my back, and that's where I feel my ancestors kick in. So.
Thanks, Rose. You say Bants, we're just a bit weird and we like to share it with the world.
But I've lived this. It's not a new thing. It's new for me to be on the internet talking about it.
It's good, but everybody's got experiences, and sometimes the circle of friends that you have, you wouldn't bring this topic up with them, either because they wouldn't believe you, you think that they would laugh at you.
It starts a do they, don't they debate as
And
well.
will they would it change their perception of you? Will it change your friendship? Or the dynamic between you?
Benny's gone away. Oh, I know.
So yeah, having a forum where it doesn't matter what you say, you're not wrong.
Your experience is your truth.
And it's valid.
But it's not for
Just
anybody.
because we didn't experience it with you doesn't mean that it didn't happen, or you didn't experience it in a particular way, because we all experience things differently. Some things that I would just brush off as an experience and go, oh yeah, that happens all the time, that's fine, don't worry about that. Somebody else might go, that's really terrible and creepy and I hate it and I don't want that kind of thing to happen, if that makes sense. It doesn't make it either one of us right. Our experiences are individual.
I believe that whatever experience they can get me to experience, knowing it was them doing it, took a lot of effort to do. And respectfully, that gets my gratitude. And it makes me buzz though. I am quite a buzzy person. And it does make me buzz. If I feel that kind of energy.
Put the coffee down,
yeah.
Step away from the
If I feel that energy side of things, I buzz from it, I feed from it.
Yeah.
That's gone cold. Oh, I don't like cold coffee.
Yeah, so tell us about your other experiences, or have you got...
Well, my other one I was going to say, because I bet you guys get this as well, is you think you've lost something, or you can't find something and then it turns up, or you suddenly think, I know where that is. And you've either got that piece of information, suddenly you've either remembered where you've put it, or thought of a place where you think, oh, I think it's there. I was wondering how many of you guys get that. Obviously, if you've got young kids and toddlers and it's car keys, then that's not ghostly. That's just need a hook high.
Or to lock your children away. I don't condone that. Don't
I used to say that. It's the difference between the RSPCA and the NSPCC. What? You can lock a dog in a cage for 5 minutes and the RSPCA don't mind. You do that with a child, the NSPCC go nuts.
It's horrendous. That's a dreadful thing. Hilarious, but a dreadful thing to say. Okay, I've forgotten what we were talking about now. See, I'm really easy to track.
Things that you think you've lost.
Things
or
going
misplaced.
missing. Oh God, yeah, that happens.
The reason I wanted to mention it is because we talk about intent, and when you want to draw things to yourself, it's that sort of logic. So if you've lost something, your intent changes slightly, so your energy changes slightly, and it sits there resonating to try and find the object, and that's when it comes to you, or you get an indication of where it is. Does that make sense? Did I actually explain that all right?
Oh, stop listening.
No. Did that sound? I swear that come out all right.
It did make sense. It did make sense. Sometimes it's a connection. Just putting my common sense hat on.
I'm just reading the comments about it.
Sometimes it makes sense, and sometimes it isn't communication. It's busy brains. Because everywhere is somewhere safe. Where did you put that? Somewhere safe. Do you know where that is? No. I'll put that in there because that's a good place, and I would definitely remember that I've put that there. Where did you put it? Don't know.
One of my mates
So
earlier.
some of it's busy brain, but some of it is somebody trying to get your attention. And you can test that by doing specific little experiments.
What's the other word I'm thinking of? You've got, when you put into a spell, you've got intention and something else. Something else, or my brain's thinking there is.
It is intent. It is indeed. Broken people draw broken people. Broken people work in care.
Do you want to? I'll explain the way I explained this to somebody years ago. It's about jaggedy edges. Broken people have jaggedy edges. Now, if you imagine an iceberg fractured and numbers of them, they all end up locking in because they've got jaggedy edges, as opposed to people who are smooth, who just go and just bounce around. But people who are slightly broken, a bit fractured, or open to spiritual stuff, have got that little bit of jaggedy edge that draws and hooks people in. And then it follows.
That was really insightful. I'm dead proud of you.
I thought of it the other day. I have loads of memories of this. It's great.
I know, but
that's
most
how
of
I
them
thought
don't make
of it.
sense. That made sense. That was really cool. I liked it.
So yeah, it's that kind of
Anyway.
jaggedy edged people. We collide. Maybe Velcro would be a better way of putting it. Because some people just can't get on the way.
Okay, so...
Do you know anything about nature spirits? And if so, are they the same as ghosts? Ooh. No. Ooh.
I think some are and some aren't. But this brings us to a discussion about fairies, which is something completely different, or fae people.
We have got a pan link at the minute because of the time of year.
Okay.
And there was also, I'm not going to start talking about it on here because that'd be too deep, but if you look at some of the stuff to do with pan and then look at the pandemic that we've been in.
Oh, it's actually Greece.
Yeah, people...
Pan means all. It's ancient Greek. Pan means all, and demos... is it pan means all and demos means everyone?
I don't know. I just
all
know
people. That's it. All people.
So yeah, so I was reading a correlation and stuff like that, and I'm not saying I believe it or don't believe it. I was reading it and sort of figuring out what I thought about it. But that was what I was thinking of, is when you said sort of nature spirits. To me, no, I don't get the same thing, but I'm quite early in my journey, being honest, when it comes to nature and feeling the nature and getting that sort of aspect of stuff. Quite newish to that.
Okay.
So no, when I connect with Hearn, the horned god, he's a nature god, but I've never physically felt like he's been there in form. I get an inkling where it's a particular gust of wind just seems to be randomly on its own within the trees, or
it's a movement of energy.
Yeah, it's that. So it's more of a collective of energy, as I've not managed to yet focus it down to that sort of true, what I class as a true connection to a deity.
I'm not sure I know what you mean, Leah. See if your dad knows.
The ones in the home, Dad says about items going missing in the home. Oh, as in naughty spirits and fairies that move stuff. Is that what she means, maybe?
I don't know. Poltergeists move stuff. Doesn't necessarily mean that that's a person. Usually poltergeist is a collection of energy that moves stuff. Or if it is somebody, it is trying to get attention. Because poltergeist means unquiet spirit. Or noisy spirit.
Yeah, so no, I'm not sure. Yeah, so spirits that sort of mess about in the house and stuff. Yes, we do get it. I've had it a couple of times. A couple of days ago, I had a shower where there's just no window is open, but the shower curtains got a draft, and there's no physical reason why there would be.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that as well.
And I've been in the shower a couple of times and gone, right, not the time, not the place.
Okay, anybody that's in the house,
I
don't be
feel it as a
nervous of having
temperature
a
drop
shower.
in there. So yes.
Yeah, and absolutely, Leah, mischievous. Don't always work on the assumption that it is about getting attention, or that it is about trying to connect, to send over a message. It could be that it's just hilarious to mess with people.
Yeah.
So being mischievous.
Not necessarily any malice.
Good
I've got no
Lord,
experience
when
as
I
far
go,
as-
I'm going to be a nightmare.
I've got no kind of genuine experience like gremlins or fairies or anything like that. I've not had any of those kind of... I know I've got a fairy village around my pond, but...
Yeah, you relocated it and didn't ask them.
Yeah, no, I didn't. But they didn't tell me they didn't like it. They've got
Let's hope they can
waterfront.
get through the fairy door, because the fairy door's been moved. They'll just have walked into a wall and gone, we can't get in.
That was fair enough.
Fair. Yeah, very good. Very good. So, yeah. Mischievous spirits.
Yeah, I'm not sure how much I know about that sort of things. What was the one you said?
Disembodied voices.
Disembodied voice, yeah.
Again, the follow me that I had, there was nothing visual. It was just a voice, which is more what is experienced. So I think Anna said last week that
wouldn't
she
surprise me,
heard
Leah.
somebody say hello, because we were questioning, and I'm not going to get drawn into a reading, Anna, but we were questioning whether it was somebody that she knew that said hello, but she couldn't see anybody. It was just a random voice that shouted out hello and then didn't hear anything again. Hi, lovely Anne-Marie.
Marie.
Well, you might have been here from the very
just tuning
beginning.
in.
No, she might have been here from the very beginning. I'm not entirely convinced that we're given the right information when we're live, because random comments come up from people that we didn't even know were there.
Oh, I thought you meant as in the times and stuff we started it.
No.
So we've got 10 more minutes unless you get us gabbing, and then we'll overrun for a bit.
Yeah, if you want to. I know there's people out there going, no, finish at 9. So yeah, tell us more stories, because lots of you have sent things. Katie, if you're still watching, you must have stories, because you've said to me about
Oh, I tell you what.
you've got a family member who's interested in this, and I hope you've directed them towards our lovely Sunday share. So we got lots of more like-minded people to chat with. But you must have stories. And you've got children, lots and lots of children, and they'll entice spirits because they have really good pure energy, especially if they're mischievous and running around. Their lives playing up a little bit. It has its moments.
Yeah. We need to have a word with Sky. And by we, I mean you.
We'll have to.
Yes.
Okay, so Anna's, you tried reaching out, you've heard knocking on your bedside drawers, but didn't get anything back. I'm not sure if that's, sorry, Rose, I'm not sure if that's our connection or your connection, but it's quite likely ours. But we've only got 8 minutes left, really.
Sorry, guys.
So sorry if you're experiencing a few issues with us. Anna, there are other things that you could do. You could put down some salt and like a circle of salt, a full circle, not just a round circle, that full flat, so that somebody can write initials in it. Because sometimes if the spirit isn't strong enough, they can move things, and they can not necessarily write, but they can do things like put initials in salt or sugar. That's something that you can do, but obviously you want to make sure that nobody else is going to be in the room when you do that. Does that make sense? Put little trigger things out, things that are connected to that person.
You also said, I would add, you've said that you're welcome to speak to me when they are ready.
They might not be ready.
But no, you've got to be ready. So you need to take time to sit quietly, meditate, listen. And you might not hear anything at first, but you've got to be ready to receive.
You might think that you're ready, but might not actually be prepared. Because they're quite insightful. They tend to know.
Oh, like I said before, it was just somebody, a relative, just popping in. So they're not there all the time.
Yeah.
Where is he? Yeah, my daughter she's so emotional, so in love with nature. She loves being with her own. It's different.
Different from the others. Oh, that's so sweet. Unfortunately, they grow up to be evil. All children. Especially girls. No, not really. That's cute. And it's good, it's something to adopt, because we are all about our phones and stuff now, so getting engagement with the natural world is going to open up loads of connections.
But not as a random eco warrior. We don't need anybody to reinvent the straw. Just stop using straws.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's not...
Definitely not paper rubbish ones. Let it go.
Yeah, and if you go to the park, take your rubbish home.
Yeah.
Just, humans. It's
Somebody's
nature.
bitter.
It bugs me. planet's there for us to use and leave behind,
Yeah.
not use and abuse.
Yeah. Absolutely. But yeah, it's a good thing. Anything that can increase the connection, if you're ready for that and open for that, that's amazing. Not everybody is. I have spoken to somebody about they are appearing very sensitive and open to connection, and they're very uncomfortable with that. And I have said that I will assist them to bind and close down so they can't get the connection anymore, which is quite sad. But not everybody likes it. Not everybody can cope with it. Not everybody wants it. There are plenty of sensitive people out there.
If it's not for you, it's not for you.
Absolutely. I agree. I agree. So,
But we definitely need a generation of nature kids.
yeah, we do.
Kids that can... Although I did see a thing about earthworms are endangered. I think we're really pushing the boundaries now, because I did sort of look into it and thought, come
I
on.
would have thought they were less endangered now than when we was kids, because when we was kids ate them.
Not everybody's kids.
They don't now. When my kids ate soil.
Now they're
Well,
programming
it is.
tablets.
It is true.
But no, I just thought, well, really, earthworms are sort of... We keep trying to find causes to fund and do stuff, when actually we do so much really just simple stuff.
Like,
Well, what was the thing we seen the other day about glass, for instance? They collect the glass, then they break it up, melt it, remake it into another jar. Why not just clean and reuse the same jar? And it's that same logic. We've created
there is
a
more
business in
effort
recycling.
and money thrown into the
I know we've gone off on a tangent,
recycling
sorry
of
guys.
something.
But it although it seems like
Just
it's
give it a wash
for
and
the
reuse
nature, is it really for nature, or did somebody figure out a way of making some money out of something?
We spun off on a tangent. I
Yeah,
apologise.
it's 'cause of the nature
There was
thing.
nothing about spirit there at all. That was appealing to our the more Wiccan in us and the connection with nature than actual spirits. It's true. Rose, you're making it worse. You're just adding on
In
to
30
our
years you
chatting
won't
away.
see birds. What, are they getting rid of, what's that swipey thing? Tinder.
Stop
won't be able to see any
it.
birds.
Oh, God, it's a weird sense of humour.
Why would there be no birds?
Anne-Marie.
Birds don't arrive from
Anne-Marie
dinosaurs.
wants meditation. I know.
Meditation.
Soon. To be fair, I've got to clear up the garden a little bit and prepare before I can have people meditate. But I know that you would do an online one as well. So I'll try and do it. I'll try and organise it. But we're supposed to be talking about ghosts and spirits, and I don't know if anybody saw that, but I'm fairly certain that an orb just went past.
Oh, we do get that. We do see them on our videos.
1 week, there was a lot.
Yeah.
It was a lot. It's true, Rose. Stop it. You're not helping us. You're
We
not
could
bringing
debate
us
human
back
behaviour
on
for quite a long
Yeah,
time.
you're not bringing us back on topic.
Bearing in mind that the other side of the mediumistic life coach, but I'm also sort of studied sociology and psychology and work as a life coach. So when it comes down to human behaviour, as a person that's lived in most of the different levels of
Society.
Yeah. Humans are all
You saw
odd
it, Adele.
people.
Yeah, it came across here, didn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, we do get them. So yeah, we could debate humans for a long time.
You know what it is? It's the spirits going, I thought you was talking about us. You've gone off topic.
It was a ghostly photo bomb.
It was a ghostly photo bomb. That's true. That'd be intriguing. Stop the video and have a look and enhance it. See if it's got
Yeah, no, if you spot
little
stuff,
angry
guys, just put it in
face.
the comments.
Yeah, for sure. Don't worry, Rose. It's fine, darling.
No, it is. It's the pagan and the Wiccan in us that it is that sense of where I like to bury my toes into the dirt in the ground and feel the earth that's there. So yeah, I do wonder what is going to be left and how different it will be. But
Okay.
it is changing, and we can just go with it. We are merely the ant on the back of this huge planet. We don't have that much control. We think we do.
On the back of the planet that's on the back of a turtle that's on the back of
Yeah, that's
four elephants. Sorry, Terry Pratchett
Random
moment.
tangents tonight, though, guys. But I hope you enjoyed it.
It's very
We
weird.
are sort of coming to an end.
We are. We'll do more spirity stuff. Send us things. It must get boring just listening to us, honestly. I bore myself. Send us your stories, your experiences and things about the spirit. Or if you've got any questions.
If you just want clarity on what it is you've experienced, and to have that sense of somebody saying, well, yeah, it probably is that, gives you a sense of closure on what you possibly did or didn't experience.
Yeah. Rose, I think we've sent you off on a tangent, love. You're going to
Can't
have
be
an
scared of the
uneasy
future.
night.
You don't know what the future is. You can't be frightened of the unknown. You can only be frightened
No.
of what's happened in the past.
Every day's an adventure. It is in my
You
head.
guys ain't boring. Thank you,
Love
Anna.
you, Anna. Anna's our cheerleader.
We have got plenty of stories, admittedly, but I don't necessarily want it to... Well, we could make it the Alistair and Penny show.
Yeah, it could just be us chitter-chattering about the rubbish in our head.
The week we've had and what we've sort of been doing. I mean,
I can't remember
studying
what happened
shamanism.
earlier today. If I'm honest with you, I'm certainly not going to remember what I've done throughout the week.
So, but yeah, same again next week, 8 o'clock, Sunday evening. Tell your friends.
Especially those that want to talk about...
This
Spirit.
week, last week's video actually got over 185 views, which is the most we've ever had in a 7-day period. So no, it's cool.
Great.
It's down
If
to
we
you
can
guys.
get more people to engage and understand this is a safe place. You can talk about this stuff and we won't judge anybody. We obviously won't allow anybody to come in and bully and to say it's a load of rubbish, because I have seen that a little bit. Not on here.
But it also is
But-
just a way where we can chat and you can go, oh look, there's two
There's
more
them
crazy people like us.
again.
What's that saying?
You enjoyed it? Okay, so we've got to stop gripping and griping now because...
Just stop. No, I'm really chuffed. We've got over 185 views. We've got views on our YouTube channel. I did
And
try
Twitter.
We've got the Twitter going now. We're slowly sort of looking at random things like this. If that's something
Like
that,
some merchandise.
if somebody would be,
Maybe a
it's-
t-shirt.
you know, I don't want to sound like a YouTuber and go hit the subscribe button. You know, hit the like for notifications. You'll know when we're going to be here. It's going to be 8 o'clock on a Sunday.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? We're not
We're not going
YouTubers.
to
We're
put
not
more
vloggers.
effort in than that, if I'm honest with you.
But we like coming and chatting with you guys and seeing your comments and confirming or affirming what
And as long
it
as
is
you
and your
like
experience in it.
coming and talking to us, yeah, tell people. Don't keep it to yourself. Share this crazy with more people.
Yeah. Right, we've got to wrap up. We haven't got like an end jingle yet or anything
I didn't
finished up.
sing this evening. I didn't say hello.
What?
No, I did say hello.
Well, you have now.
Yeah.
Right then, let's go.
All
Right.
right.
Thanks for watching,
Thank
guys.
you, lovely, lovely people.
Speak to you in the week and...
See you next week.
Yeah, we'll see you next week.